Well, thankfully, the Demon Deacons have someone to play in the Gator Bowl. Phew. Everyone can take a chill. And we also got to talk about the COVID rescheduling policy in terms of what it looks like as we're getting into next week's game. Will it be a new year, new vibe for the ACC and basketball play? Who knows? The women as well have a nice slate on that December 30th drop off. We also got to talk about the Military Bowl. Boston College will face East Carolina on Monday, and I'm sure it's going to be a great game. Drizzy Drake in the building to tell you the best bets, how you should be handling things. Here we go.
Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh my God, that says JJ Jackson. What in the world? I can't even get your name right. Look at this. Okay, Drizzy Drake in the building. Here we go. We're starting out things hot. Everyone who's watching YouTube, they're like, who is actually going to be on the show? It's Drizzy Drake, Locked On Seminoles host in the building. If you are listening live in direct and effect, we are so glad that you're making Locked On ACC your first listen, and then you make Locked On Seminoles your second. You can find us anywhere you listen to a podcast. We are free and available everywhere. Drizzy Drake, I hope you've had a good start to your week. I see you're in a new location, so you got to tell people where you're at, because, we're used to seeing the Star Wars guy in the background.
Yeah, right? Baby Yoda in the back. We got Grogu back there. No, folks, if you're watching on YouTube right now, I am actually in the home of Stevie Miocic, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Colson Baker, a.k.a. MGK. I'm in Cleveland right now. I'm actually up in the Bay Village area, Crocker Park. Shout out. I actually went to a Browns game actually on Monday. Probably my first outside stadium game, for a very long time. So it was a good time here to visit some friends. And it's been a great damn time. So but it's cold. It's cold as hell up here. I thought Baltimore was cold. Nah, now I see what you mean when you were saying in the group chat that you catch an attitude below 50, because I've had an attitude below 30, and it's not nice.
Okay, it's just a different level of why are my bones cold? Not even my skin. F that. Why are my bones feeling brittle right now? So I'm not feeling that. But I see you got the sweatshirt on, so you really bought into the culture over there in Cleveland. Okay.
Listen, man, I'm a tourist, man. My dad started off with me too. Whenever you go somewhere, he's like, always grab something to remember your trip by.
Oh,
yeah. I grabbed this. I got a Nick Chubb jersey too, even though I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a big Chubb guy. He won me the championship last year in fantasy. It's been a good time, but we're here to discuss some ACC football now.
We sure are. We got to talk about some rescheduling policies, and more importantly, it fits for football as much as we've seen it for basketball going on. As I mentioned on the show with AJ Black, and as we talked about a little bit on Thursday's episode, we have gotten opportunity to really see things happening in real time, whether it's, not having the forfeits any longer, but more so getting an opportunity to potentially postpone or reschedule. That's how things are kind of faring out now with the ACC. Thankfully, because at first it was more so about bullying you into getting vaccinated. And now it's more so about, hey, we don't want to screw you out of an opportunity to play in ACC in whatever your ranking might be come the end of this bad boy. What were your thoughts to how they revised the policy?
I mean, it's always I feel like I'm always on here, or AJ's on here whenever we have NCAA discussions regarding how they handle things, because they always handle them poorly. To me, this rule they put in place now, where if you have a game, we don't have enough players, you should be rescheduling. I think it should be the primary concern. I think a majority of teams now are hopefully out there vaccinated. I don't like the 7 players you still kind of play type of thing, because to me that leads a little more to a safety issue. We discussed 2 weeks ago where Paulo Banchero loses 7 pounds in the first quarter, maybe in the first half. So to me that might maybe should have been pushed back to 10, maybe even 9. But
you don't want to see team managers out there holding it down?
Listen, man, we got the Green Vipers. We got a team of walk-ons. We got a team of walk-ons at Florida State called the Green Vipers. Shout out Justin Lindner, Harrison Prieto. But man, I'm not trying to watch a bunch of me's out there shooting threes. They're much better than me, but still, it's. To me, that's kind of a safety concern, but I do think they kind of made the right move. They kind of rectify what they should be doing, because, COVID's still out there, especially right now with everything going on. So to me, it's safety first, but I think rescheduling was the proper way to do it. And if you're going to be a vaccinated team and you still can't play because of some symptoms like Boston College, you shouldn't get an L in the loss column. I'm sorry.
That's true. And they did reverse that ruling, I guess you can say. Wake Forest no longer has that ACC window in its belt, and Boston College doesn't have that loss. So good on AC for figuring that out. But speaking of Wake Forest, they have other issues, not only on the basketball court, but now on the football football field, there it is, they were trying to find an opponent because Gator Bowl, Texas A&M announced that they would no longer be able to fulfill a roster for them to play in the Gator Bowl. And I am, as a Demon Deacons, graduate, I'm sad for them because at the time being, it was like, damn, you do all of this work. Sam Hartman's trying to come back. He doesn't want his season to end on the ACC championship because that was ugly. And he doesn't get an opportunity to play potentially in the Gator Bowl. And now look, he has an opportunity to play Rutgers, who gets to be in the bowl. They're a 5-7 team, and they had the best APR, which my brilliant, talented friend Drizzy Drake is going to explain to the people how Rutgers got to be the pick for the bowl game.
So APR, folks, for those who don't know, I worked at compliance over at Hopkins for a year and a half, and a lot of stuff I did was handling a lot of academics for student athletes. APR is called academic progress rate. Mm-hmm. Basically, each player on your team is given 2 points. 1 point for being on the roster and 1 point for being academically eligible. And now you round that out. If you have a perfect score, shout out women's lacrosse for at Hopkins. They always have like a 1,000 or 998. That's how high you can get. Yeah. Now, if you fall below 940 with your entire roster, that's when you become ineligible for bowls. You lose scholarships. FSU had a problem when Jimbo Fisher left that we had a 942. Actually, Taggart had kind of one of the best things that Taggart did do at FSU was clean that up, get academic progress rates much higher. I think we're around now 960, which is a huge step and upgrade. Now, when you look at Rutgers, they have a 974. Now, they might be 5-7, but when a team like Texas A&M is ineligible or unavailable to play a football game, you go to the next one in line, and that's kind of where the NCAA in the school rewards your academic excellence and performance in the classroom. Because Rutgers has 974. Next thing was Illinois 970, and I think Florida State might have been 4th or 5th actually to be replaced against Wake Forest. And I would have loved that rematch, but Rutgers, they earned it in the classroom and on the field, and Wake Forest finally gets to end probably their best year of their entire career or entire school's history, on a good note, hopefully.
So do you think this is going to be Wake Forest all the way, or is this actually going to be an evenly matched game? Because I understand, the ramifications academically, you certainly get chosen. But if you look at the matchup, is it going to be worth our time to tune into the Gator Bowl?
I don't know, because I don't know if Rutgers has been practicing. I know Wake Forest obviously has been practicing for the 2 weeks. They had the 15 bowl practices. Some teams might have said no because they haven't been practicing at all. I think FSU might have said no because I think most of the players haven't been back on campus for 3 weeks. So I think this is a Wake Forest team that might honestly dominate the game by 30 to 40 points, primarily because they have been practicing. Rutgers, we don't know. And also, I don't know if you watched any Rutgers football this year. Their defense is probably the only thing good about them, but their offense is probably one of the most anemic things I think I've ever seen. So Sam Hartman hopefully, goes out on a good note.
Yeah.
But if I'm y'all, you're going to gamble on this, take Wake Forest, everything every single way, and take the under too, because Rutgers might not score. But hey, I've seen weird things happen in bowl season.
100% true, but I do agree with the safety of people not practicing, because this isn't like basketball, a game of runs where you can just play pickup, you can go do what you got to do, people keep rolling. Like football, you have to be in some sort of shape because you can get seriously injured if you're not equipped to play. And of course, once your season is over, you kind of check out mentally, check out physically. You probably had a few more, quarter pounders than you would have normally in your season nutrition wise. So that's remains to be seen how it'll all play out. But again, good that they have the opportunity. Will we see more bowl games like this? I don't know. Do you see, even if the college football playoffs, I feel like they had to keep these guys in a hut right now in order to get this to go off.
Yeah, I was surprised they were able to get that many people from last year, and the only one that I think that we saw the big name that wasn't able to be there was Tony Elliott, and we saw how that worked out. That would be really interesting to see, like how, because I know in the NFL they have the 48-hour policy where you get tested twice within a 48-hour span after being tested positive that you can come back. You can't do the same thing with these kids because they're not employees, they're not independent contractors, they don't get paid for their services for this. While they have NIL, they're not compensated actually for their work on the field. So it's like, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if it's the right thing to do that with these kids, but we'll see. I think they'll be fine because I think a lot of them, they go ahead of time. I know Notre Dame is going to, I think, the Fiesta Bowl on Monday, like 4 or 5 days before their actual game itself. So shout out to Marcus Freeman. But to me, I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe hear something coming out. Hopefully not. Hopefully these kids can stay safe, stay healthy. So I think we'll be fine. But, You never know nowadays now with all this COVID stuff. So
And I think also, like, with what is on the line, you can see kids a lot more likely to stay low key,
yep.
not really be out. But it's not to say that COVID can't get you going to Target, right? So I think that's the biggest concern. Like, you better be ordering DoorDash, contactless orders, whatever have you, but try and be as safe as possible. But I also see, college football committee being like, testing, meh, let's just get through this. Like, let's not, unless it gets egregious and people are super symptomatic, I don't see them caring at all.
No, I feel that, but I will say I think Nick Saban is someone that definitely like has instructing these kids like, no, this is like we can do all the fun stuff, going out, doing all the stuff, after season's over. And I think he kind of the players have the same mentality, see like the way Bryce Young conducts himself and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see how like Cincinnati does that because it is their first time there. They don't know whether or not they're going to be back there. Because I'm not gonna lie, if I was 18 or 19 or 20, I'm like, damn, I should take this all in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's just me speaking for myself there. But what I hope they can keep it a little more low key. But at the end of the day, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. We saw
This is
around
true.
Halloween. We saw around Halloween time where people were losing out and stuff. So
That's true. You don't get the same experience, bowl experience, as we used to, where they get to like be out there for a week, you experience cities. So certainly are trying to figure out how to maneuver. But good points that you were making, of course. But we have to move to things about basketball because as while teams aren't playing over the Christmas holiday, we definitely want to talk about a couple games. I want to get your thoughts around some of the matchups that we've seen so far and what we potentially will see as we're heading into the new year. And if you guys want to get everything in order with your sports, you want to make sure your bets are nice and squared away. BetOnline has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the College Bowl season and pro football playoffs. Also, the thick of it is college basketball. BetOnline remains your number one spot, and you can head to their website or mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit by using promo code Locked On. Basketball, football, NHL, boxing, whatever you need, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all sports. So don't wait. Go to betonline.ag. BetOnline is where the game starts. Sitting here with Drizzy, Drake, Locked On Seminoles host, and we are going through all of the news to get you ready for the holiday season. And we're preparing for the new year, and basketball is in full swing. We talked about Duke and Virginia Tech matchup. Man, that was an interesting one. Okay, down 14, Duke was able to come back and beat the Hokies. And of course, you never want to lose to Duke like that. Never want to lose in Cameron, but I feel like it was a good wake-up call, good gauge to see how competitive the ACC might be this season, but I'm still not holding out too much hope, when it comes to this conference play on the men's side of things.
yeah, I think, like I said, I don't put too much stock into basketball until until the end of January. If we're being completely honest here, like ACC right now is very, very down. Even though I will say Virginia Tech, they look pretty good in that game. They look pretty good all season long. I know it's Hunter Couture. Hopefully, I've said this kid's name right. He had, I think, a double or scored double figures in 5 to 6 games going into the Duke game last night. And it's just really weird to me. You're seeing these random teams actually be kind of like how FSU, I think, for the past few years was kind of like that random team that was starting to be very, very good. You got Virginia Tech playing very well. You also have Clemson sneakily just actually playing a lot better. Did you know they're actually top 25 in offensive efficiency? That's a mouthful. Actually, in the entire country right now. So
Yeah.
I do hope to see a much more competitive ACC. But then when you have games where like NC State loses to Wright State, you have other games where FSU loses to South Carolina, has to go to overtime at Boston University. They beat Lipscomb, but it's kind of a lot of these teams I think are still rounding out. And hopefully we'll see some when the new year picks up, like you said, like kind of more a solid foundation for all these programs. But right now, it's still, like I said, it's Duke and everyone else. They're the only one they're nasty.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it was interesting, how Clemson, as you brought up, beat Virginia, a team that we've all been like so scared of, slow paced game. We're all stumbling over here. Slow paced game, and how people have pretty much figured them out and how to dominate them, and they're not having seasons that we've seen in the past. And yet, we still can't count them out because on any given night, I think any ACC team is certainly able to put things away. But as we gear up for what should be an exciting, after Christmas if you celebrate that holiday. We have Syracuse playing Brown, and then you go right into Tuesday, a couple matchups, just having Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. It seems like a hard reset. But you go into this Wednesday, December 29th, where Duke will play Clemson. They're coming off that big win. Florida State will play Boston College. Georgia Tech will play Syracuse. Virginia Tech will play Carolina. Wake Forest will play Louisville. NC State will play Miami. All right, welcome to the ACC. That's when we're starting to say, okay, put up or shut up. Who's really got it? Who really doesn't? Who's going to figure it out quickly after they get a couple of days rest?
No, I completely agree with that. And hopefully, as Ken said, most of our games actually, we have nothing this weekend. And then you got Monday and then you got Wednesday kind of kicking the high gear. You got the New Year coming up and everything else. So, we need a lot of these teams to, show up that we're putting a lot of stake in. Virginia, I have no idea what the hell is going on with Virginia right now. For advanced metrics, they're out of the top 100. And that's something you don't see from a Tony Bennett-led team. Maybe they don't have the players anymore. Maybe also people starting to figure out how their slow style of pace is kind of lagging behind, similar to how Jimbo Fisher loses weird games because he doesn't want to adapt to the faster style of the game. And then you have a Virginia Tech who's in the top 25 for advanced metrics. Clemson's in the top 40. FSU for some reason is still in there, which their shooting is abysmal, so I don't even throw that out. But we need to see more competent basketball because we're supposed to be the best conference in the sport, correct?
Yeah.
And to me, we should be leading the charge in that. And right now, so far, like I said, it's not January yet, but it is a little concerning. But hopefully, when we actually get into conference play, iron sharpens iron, and we're actually able to, come out on top with the new year.
Are you a little nervous about Boston College playing Florida State?
Absolutely. I've watched enough. See, listen, here's my thing. Our team, now I know exactly what the problem is.
Yeah.
We're just stupid young. We are seriously a lot of, we don't have that sort of veteran leader, besides Malik Osborne, but he's a power forward. You don't really kind of rest on that much. And our point guard is a transfer. Cameron Fletcher, I think he's been out with a cheek injury, is starting to come back now. But we have Jalen Warley, Matthew Cleveland, who are all either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. And we're starting to learn the game. And we look a lot smaller. And I'm not talking about height-wise because I think we have 6 or 7 people above 6'10" on our team, which is absolutely absurd. But we're not as thick. And if you see, we're getting bullied on the boards. We had Balsa Koprivica last year to help us out with that.
Right.
We had Raekwon Gray, a.k.a. Thick James Harden. That's what he used to call him last year. To me, it's just we're losing to teams that have been there before and also have played a lot with each other. So the Boston College game, that is going to freaking scare me.
Yeah, I think it's a team that is figuring out how to play with each other in terms of the Boston College Eagles, and they're wanting to prove people wrong. And so getting to play a team like the Seminoles and beat them, they're like, okay, I want everyone to be put on notice. I think they were trying to do that as well with the Wake Forest game. And, as the season progresses, you have teams like Wake Forest who definitely want to beat a Louisville come next Wednesday. They're going to want to say, hey, we are the newer parts of, we're the classic Wake Forest that we were used to seeing way back when. And then the NC States and the Miamis of the world, there's two just teams who are trying to figure it out day by day, game by game. I think NC State definitely wants to right the wrong of what they did against Wright State. But you also have Carolina playing Virginia Tech, which on the football side of things, they slept on the Hokies. Carolina did. Now you look at this Carolina team who's slept on teams like Kentucky, who slept on Purdue and Tennessee. Can they figure out how to really be the team that everyone predicts them to be based on what you see on paper?
See, I really like Armando. Is it Bacot or Bacot?
Bacot.
I actually like the kid a lot. I do think, though, that's Kentucky lost when y'all.
But after him, who else do you have?
I mean, Caleb Love's pretty good. I like Caleb Love. RJ Davis. Do you want me to keep going, or what are we doing here right now?
Yeah, I concur. I don't know. I'm just gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
No worries, but I think the Kentucky game actually was at a good spot, and I say that because y'all got slapped in the face on national TV by a lot of points, but you responded by a 20-point win against Appalachian State. Now, I'm not saying Appalachian State's this wonderful team, but sometimes you kind of need that kind of L to kind of wake yourself up a little bit, especially going into conference play.
Were they too confident about that Michigan win? Do you think they got full of themselves?
And maybe, if we're being honest, I mean, who they play after that? Georgia Tech, Elon, Furman. So kind of they probably did feel we're high and mighty, and then you got John Calipari coming in. Ooh, yeah, that Kentucky, that blue, that's different. So to me, that's
I a little bit blame I a little bit blame Hubert Davis and coaching a little bit because I think he
Mhm.
prepped for UCLA, didn't play UCLA, then you didn't have time to really adjust and get ready for it, Kentucky. Like while it's basketball, it's like it's different, right? You do watch film, you do have X's and O's, and it was just that it did not come out prepared at all, and
I mean,
that no.
that's true.
But
That's
I also blame players. Like at the end of the day, it's a you come out and play
it's a
basketball.
relationship, man. You need both to
Yeah,
be on the same page.
it's
And like
synergy.
and you're right. That Michigan game probably, if you're looking at it, even the score lines now, I mean, you beat Furman by 13. You should beat them by more. Elon 17 makes sense. Georgia Tech is not that good, 17-2. But it's like you go from that super high of being a Michigan team. That's they're really good. I like Juwan Howard a lot. But
Yeah,
then you have that lull of those 4 games going to Kentucky. You know damn well you're being like, we're good. We're chilling. We're the best team in AC right now. And
yeah,
then Kentucky stomps you. So to me, the Appalachian State game was probably extremely important to actually kind of show out like y'all were just dominate the entire game. And to
sure.
me, that's very important to see how these kids respond, how Hubert Davis responds and adjusts, and especially now that going to AC play because you got Virginia Tech, then college, Notre Dame, and then Virginia, which is not it's a suspect kind of slate there. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how you guys respond to that. But I think you guys took the L at the right time, and I
Yeah.
do trust Hubert Davis. I do trust Bacot to kind of like lead the charge moving forward.
No doubt. And if you guys are really into women's basketball as well, they have a nice little stretch here. They do not play again until December 30th. So many good matchups, so many top 25 teams in ACC women's hoops. If you guys have not paid attention, I strongly encourage you just give it a try. If you're not a big women's hoops fan, I'm telling you what, you got good matchups right here. Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh, Syracuse, North Carolina, Boston College, Louisville, NC State, Clemson, Duke, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame and Virginia. I'm naming people who are already in the top 25. Just give it a chance. That's all I'm saying. Wake Forest and Florida State, neither are ranked, but it's fine. Still could be a good game. Still could be a good game. But all I'm saying is give yourself an opportunity to love on our women's hoops because I think they do really well. But before we get out of here, I can't not talk about Boston College playing East Carolina on the football field, the Military Bowl. It all goes down. And so, listen, I want to hear Drizzy Drake's thoughts. I want to make sure we get you guys in the betting order because we just talked about BetOnline.ag. But if you're watching the game, I strongly encourage you to get a treat while you watch it. You can get this delicious and healthy Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever because they're not only good, they're healthy with so many flavors. They give you that extra fuel. And let me tell you why people are so passionate about their faves because they are low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and low fat and limited sugar. You cannot go wrong with a Built Bar. And by not only getting yourself ready for the holiday season, if you're trying to get your New Year's vibe on, you want to get a little exercise going, you want to get a little fitness in yourself, I'm telling you, hit up Built Bar, get your little pack, get your little mix box. All you can do is get right for the new year as we're bringing new energy. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCK15, get 15% off your order. Again, built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Wrapping up the show here, Drizzy Drake, Locked on Seminoles host. Make sure you check out his podcast as well as his group Knowles Anonymous, where it all goes down. You might catch yourself on the Twitter Spaces. You never know who's going to get fired next. Okay, it always is a good vibe over there in Tallahassee. Now, Military Bowl, Boston College Eagles playing the East Carolina Pirates. I've been to an East Carolina game. I saw them play Cincinnati. Man, oh man, they were toe to toe with Cincinnati for a minute.
Oh, they're tough.
Until they remembered that they can't play offense. And then it got a little dicey. And Cincinnati remembered who they were, and the game got taken away. But Boston College cannot sleep. I know Phil Dracovic is back. I know Zay Flowers is coming back, but this isn't going to be a gimme.
It's not. And folks, for those of you that, at first, it was time to the show, welcome. I'm the guy that, always does gambling picks. I typically, preach patience, pick your spots. It's bowl season. I just don't load the clip on every single game, if we're going to be honest here. Irresponsibly, but responsibly. To me, East Carolina, their defense is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's like typically, I think they're the opposite of Wake Forest. They have like a top 10 defense. I think they lead the country. Actually, no, the top 15 in havoc rate, which is basically where the quarterback, can be sacked. The quarterback hurry kind of starting to play. But their offense, as Cans was saying, is terrible. It's awful. And Boston College, brings back Phil Dracovic, Zay Flowers. That offense, when it's humming, it's humming. And if we're being honest, this is a game where they both announce to come back. They might want to show out a little bit for fans to how can 2022 be for them moving forward. And Jeff Hafley might be on the way to a different job if he does well next season because I think he's one of the higher.
You think he wants to leave Boston College?
Of course, absolutely. And it's nothing
Why
against
can't some places just be destined? Like, why does everyone why does it always have to be something bigger? But that, that's a whole episode.
That's a whole different
That's a whole
discussion
episode.
for that's a whole different. I just think there's going to be a place that gives them a lot of money. It's a big time job, and there's a certain amount of money where I will not say no. And I think Jeff Havlicek kind of has the same amount too in mind.
So the right dollar can make anybody go ahead and say, okay.
I mean, you can think of it that way.
I
And trust me,
ain't mad.
and Phil Dracovic is gone. Who's going to be your quarterback? We saw what happened when he left. So it's kind of like if you want to leave, you got to leave a certain time. So
touche.
But I think Boston College, to me, this game it's interesting because it opened as a pick'em, which is basically means they're both evenly matched. Now, for BetOnline.ag, the fast and easiest way to get all your latest sports action, East Carolina is actually at +3, which to me is a good value. It's a good steal. To me, I actually probably would take East Carolina +3. I'll take the under 52 primarily because this is going to be a low-scoring game because East Carolina's offense is terrible. We saw it in Cincinnati. We saw that against UCF and Boston College. Their defense is pretty solid because they got Jalen Large will be coming back too. So to me, give me East Carolina +3 with the points.
No doubt. All right, Drizzy Drake, it's always a pleasure to have you. Christmas Eve here, episode dropping. Make sure you guys have something nice to say about us when you look into those comments on YouTube. We know we appreciate all the feedback, good, bad, or ugly, because it means you're listening, and that's all we care. We love having all the subscribers. We're steadily picking up over here. But Drizzy Drake has some content he wants you guys to follow. So Drizzy Drake, let these people know where they got you.
You can follow me at Tally__Drake. You can follow my co-host at MaxMoody17. You can follow Dave at GoKnowles with a 5 at the end. He's old, so he doesn't understand Twitter. You can follow the podcast at L_Seminoles at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. And also at Knowles Anonymous. That's kind of our community where we get our DMs, where we get our content and everything else. Also, before I forget, we just dropped an episode with Mouth of the South from Locked On HBCU to discuss the Travis Hunters, how that all went down, the importance of the decision, everything else. Max interviewed him on Monday. I unfortunately couldn't make it, but it's a great interview. Go ahead and listen to that. And as always, fans first, people second, content creators third. And Feliz Navidad. Feliz Noche Buena todos mi gente allá. So have a good time, guys.
Guys, I have one more thought though. What is your FSU Christmas wish, or even your New Year's resolution? You got to end the people right. What do you want one thing for your school?
Oh, new head coach.
Ooh,
and I'm joking. Give me just a good core. Just give me a solid quarterback room next year. We've lost so many QBs. Okay. I like Jordan Travis, but we lost Jubba Purdy. Mackenzie Milton wasn't it. And Jordan Travis loved the kid to death, but he can't stay healthy. So give me a solid QB in the transfer portal for the love of God. Because if not, Mike, I will make my Christmas gift, for next year with my Santa list to get a new head coach if you ain't it.
Oh, no doubt. Might find him in Twitter Spaces. You never know. All right, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Please be safe and happy holidays. Maybe you're getting yourself a beer over here and thinking about happy. I'm just not focused. It's all right. Make sure you guys have a nice and safe holiday, and we will talk next week and get you all through that bowl action, every game breakdown that we can. And until next time.